path that our lives seems to take, or they are filled with oddities and twists and turns, leaving us scratching our head and trying to figure things out, which we often fail to do. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day 1 of Vayetzi, and he laughed, is what we are speaking about this week. Getting things into a place of restoration and return. In the book of Bereshit, or Genesis chapter 28, in verse number 10, we'll read that one verse today, and it says, And Yaakov went out, or he left from Beersheba and went toward Haran. We're going to start this one out today a little on the deep side, so take a deep breath and kind of hang on with me. Let's see if we can kind of work a couple of principles out together. In our physical world, there are two realities that shape us and define us, at least as we understand the ability to perceive and interact with this physical realm. Now, we know that there's a spiritual realm, but things are different there. Here, we have two realities, and that is time and space. Time and space. Now, it might take an Einstein-level mind to figure out what to do with these realities to their greater degree, but let's look at a more practical aspect of this. We understand time in our physical realm in the idea of hours of the day, minutes in the hour, days of the month, months of the year, years as they continue to pile on in decades and then centuries, etc. We understand space. We are limited by space. In my room here, there is a certain dimension of space. I'm limited by space and by time from not being able to be somewhere different than I am in an instant. It's going to take me some time to get to a different location, and I'm going to need to move and change space. In the spiritual realm, time and space are not limited. It's not that they don't exist altogether, but they are different. Whereas here on the earth, we are defined by the boundaries of space. In the spiritual realm, it is understood past, present, and future, but they don't exist exactly the same way, as they are all eternally existing together. In other words, Yah knew all things in the reality of time, from the end to the beginning, all the events in between, and they had already been established before any act of creation ever took place. So that being understood, Yah has foreseen our day. He knows the days that are to come. He knows our past. He knows how that they all work together. Man wants to put time on a linear line. We want to start at point A and go to point B and beyond. Well, that's westernized Greco-Roman thinking. You can't take Scripture and look at it that way, because Scripture is not written from a Greco-Roman Western mindset. It is Hebraic. It is a Hebrew mindset, a scriptural mindset, which says the time is not a linear line. It's a circle. It's a cycle. Cycles of times. Time continues, and events within that space of time, they repeat themselves. We walk in the footsteps of our forefathers, it is said. And so with boundaries, Yah has spiritually set certain boundaries, clean and unclean, that which is above and that which is beneath. Boundaries around his presence and protocols to approach his presence, for example. And so Yah has taken all of these different codes of reality, and he has put them into our world in the confines of the Torah, and has handed it off to us. And he's asked us to depart from our westernized mindsets that we have been raised in and began to operate differently. Now, if you do that, obviously you're going to be looked at weird, and you're not going to be properly understood, and it's going to be a struggle. Welcome to Torah life. This is the way it works for us. Now, man wants to take time, and we want to put it in a linear line where we understand it, where it works for us, and you can never go back, we say. Well, Yah's saying, you're not only going back, you're going to go and do it all over again. And we want to take Yah's boundaries and we want to adjust them because, well, man has adjusted and man has matured and man has become much more sophisticated and educated and convoluted and conflicted. And therefore, boundaries must be movable and they must change. And Yah says, no, I want you to come back to what I have established. And I want you to return and be restored to what is proper in order that I may bring my kingdom and reveal it to you. So we are talking about then what is written in Acts 3, I believe verse 19, about the restoration of all things. So the process that we read about begins in this verse, at least for this Torah portion, that Yaakov is leaving Beersheba and he's going to Haran. Now, there are some odd things about this. And we want to look quickly at these odd things. Number one, his father Yitzhak, Isaac, was prohibited from leaving the land. When it came time to get his bride, he couldn't go find her and bring her back. A servant went in his place to Haran, the same location that Yaakov is headed to, and a servant went and found his bride and brought her back to him. Cousins, Ishmael, and the sons of Keturah, Abraham's concubine, all of them were blessed, and then they were sent away to the east. They get to leave home. Matter of fact, they were told to leave home, and they were sent away to the east. Something else that I find very interesting here is that while Yaakov is being not asked to leave, he's been told, get out of town, go to Haran, go live with your uncle Laban. And Rivka has to be chafing because she knows how her brother is. She knows that this is going to be a rough place for her son to go to. But she's going to send him there anyway. And while Yaakov can leave town and must leave town, Esau is allowed to stay. He stays in the land. Yaakov's sent out into exile. And yet it's Esau that has promoted all of this by threatening to kill his brother. So the politically correct storyline that they tell everyone is, oh, Yaakov's left town to go find a bride. That's what he's leaving town for. The secret is that Esau is going to get his hands on his brother and kill him the first chance that he gets. Now we come to an important part. Yaakov leaves Beersheba, which means the well of the oath of the seven. It's a covenant place. This is a family place going back to Abraham. This is a place of spiritual encounter, of important decisions. This is where Yah's covenant is enacted and stood upon and gives favor to the Abrahamic family. It is a place of Yah's blessing. And he leaves to go to Haran. Haran means parched, dried up from the sun. Nobody wants to live where it's dried up and barren and dusty. Why leave blessings and go to such a place like that? Well, here's the important end result of this, for today at least. Your destiny, your calling, your work, your placement, it rarely lives at the same address that you presently possess. Movement is always necessary in order to bring about return. You got to go before you can return. Chew on those things today, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. So then, shalom.